Dixon secretary.
Yes, hello. Is it Andrea?
Oh, hi, yes.
It's myself, Mr. Hussain, regarding my brother Talib Hussain. We did speak a couple of weeks ago. It was in relation to the follow-up meeting the meeting by Dr. Dixon, I think towards the end of June. She said that she'll be looking to make an appointment to have my brother, telephone appointment to have my brother discharged. I'm still, chasing this up. I just wanted to know if there's any been progress on this.
Right, she just said to me that the plan is to have a face-to-face assessment.
Why a face-to-face assessment? That's not what we were discussed on the telephone.
I think that's just general protocol. That's what they do to discharge patients.
Well, no, these are unprecedented times, aren't they?
I know.
And so therefore it's just a delaying tactic, because when is this face-to-face meeting going to take place? It's going to now be after the coronavirus epidemic eases, isn't it?
Yeah.
So therefore you basically utilizing the coronavirus as a means to achieve your objective. My brother should have been discharged when Dr. Sami came to see him on a face-to-face meeting in April 2019. So that didn't happen then. And it's clearly a nefarious agenda, because you've had a face-to-face meeting. My brother does not want a face-to-face meeting. So if my brother does not want a face-to-face meeting, then how can that take place?
Well, Dr. Dixon says that you can contact PALS if you've got any concerns.
Well, I mean, this once again, what's PALS going to do with anything?
Well, I know.
What's PALS going to do? My brother needs to be discharged. All right, you're refusing to discharge him. We've gone through so what was the point of changing from Dr. Sami to Dr. Dixon if the narrative is exactly the same?
Like I say, I think that's the way that it is to discharge.
Well, that's not going to happen that way. Irrespective, it's not going to happen that way, because my brother has a right to refuse. Okay, so my brother's saying, no, I don't want to be part of this service because they are unlawfully kidnapped. And I'm sorry if I'm raising my voice with you. I don't mean any disrespect to yourself personally. But the reality is that we're just basically just being conned. That's all it is, because what was the point of things bouncing backward and forward? First it was Dr. Dixon, then it was Dr. Sami, then it was Dr. Dixon. And, we're 2 years out, my brother's been discharged, and you're saying, oh no, we want a face-to-face discharge. Well, let's have a face-to-face discharge tomorrow. But you're saying, no, now it has to be wait until after the coronavirus. And we're in a state of limbo because we can't finalize anything while my brother is in this situation.
I mean, like I say, Mr. Hussain, the only thing you can do is take it all with PALS and then...
But what are PALS going to do with anything? I've gone through PALS. Sorry?
I don't know if they can do anything on your behalf, and say, look,
Well, the reality is that I had a conversation with Dr. Dixon. It was a telephone conversation, and she said that she would look to arrange a telephone consultation in 2 weeks' time. If you remember, I rang you up straight away and I said, when can this arrangement take place? She told me, well, I'll have to look into other people's diaries, i.e. Fungi and Bali, his care coordinators, and arrange a telephone meeting. And today, when I'm ringing up saying 2 weeks has now passed, where's this telephone meeting? You're telling me now, oh no, we're going to go back to square one, where it's going to be a face-to-face discharge, which can't take place now. It's going to take place when the coronavirus dissipates within 4 to 6 months. Well, I'm sorry, but the frustration stems from clear fraud taking place. Because what was the point of moving doctors from Dr. Dixon, from Dr. Sami to Dr. Dixon?
Yeah.
What was the point? If Dr. Dixon is going to say exactly what Dr. Sami has said.
Yeah.
And Dr. Sami has come and visited my brother, and my brother's saying, I don't want to engage with you. Do you accept that my brother has a right to refuse? Yeah, I understand. Like, moving forward, obviously, when did Dr. Dixon tell you there has to be a face-to-face meeting?
She's on leave, so she's just sent me an email to say...
Okay, and when did you receive that email?
She sent me an email last week.
Okay, what date?
On Wednesday.
Alright, so she sent you an email last Wednesday saying, no, we're going to go back to the face-to-face thing.
She just put, once the pandemic settled, arrange a face-to-face assessment, and she's just put, we'll be in touch.
No, we don't want a face-to-face assessment. How clear? It's just really beggars belief that here my brother is as a vulnerable person, and if he was to express this, you would ignore him. I am not a vulnerable person. I'm clearly articulated, and I said, no, We're saying we don't want a face-to-face assessment. Why? Why would you want a face-to-face assessment? What advantage does it give us? The only thing that this is doing is delaying what my brother's rights are, which are he has a right, certain rights that are not being addressed. Every excuse is being utilized under the sun. I'm getting very frustrated with this. When is Dr. Dixon back?
She's on leave all this week as well. So just let me check the diary. I think she's back the week after. Yeah, she's back on the 20th.
Okay, well, you know, Miss Andrea, I'm very, very annoyed. Dr. Dixon can go on holiday. Dr. Nasser can go on extended leave. Everybody can go on extended leave while we're held perpetually into this situation, which is not in my brother's best interest, which is clearly in your interest, and clearly something fraudulent is taking place in regards to why the discharge is not taking place. So, can you ask Dr. Dixon to arrange a telephone, call me back on my telephone number? Yeah, because this is not acceptable. We don't want your services, and you're forcing services on us and refusing to discharge, and now it's quite underhanded that you're utilizing a national crisis in order to perpetuate a situation that is causing us grief and anxiety and distress.
You don't want to go down the PALS route?
Well, we don't see the point of going down the PALS route. What is that going to achieve? No, they're not. They can't help, because this is quite clearly rather than going to the PALS, I want you to speak to the chief executive, Brent Kilmody, myself.
I don't know what to.
Yeah, because basically the complaints procedure is used as a red herring deflection to take up my time and resources going to the PALS. What are the PALS going to do? We've asked my brother to be discharged. How difficult can it be to discharge him? I've explained to Dr. Dixon that you came to our home and my brother was verbally abusive to you, told you to go do one, and then you discharged him. When he clearly told you, was being verbally abusive to her, and now subsequently, you discharged him, and now when I'm asking for something, you're saying we're not going to discharge him until we have a face-to-face. And my brother has anxiety dealing with people such as from your organization. And the Dr. Dixon is just basically hamstringing us and listening to somebody else's over there. Because this is not the conversation that we had with Dr. Dixon. Dr. Dixon said, I agree with you. We're going to arrange a telephone consultation. So this is 2 weeks now since that's happened. So that's why I'm ringing you up to find out where are we with this telephone consultation to get my brother discharged. What is the point of my brother coming to see the doctor? What happens if my brother feels so anxious and so angry because I feel angry? What happens if he lashes out and punches somebody? You understand? He's getting very annoyed because you're not respecting him. You're abusing your power and position to hold him in into this perpetual situation, refusing to discharge him. Oh, we need to see him. Why? He can say, I don't want to see you. He has a right to refuse to see you people. Because clearly you're not acting in his best interest, you're acting to his detriment. Why would you not discharge him, considering that he's been in the community and in my care for over nearly 2 years now? Yeah, Dr. Dixon is hiding behind the corporate veil, just like everybody else is hiding behind the corporate veil, saying we're doctors going on extended maternity leave, extended home leave, working from home, going on leave while we're struggling. All right, and so obviously I'm sorry if you're having to bear the brunt of my annoyance. But the reality is that Dr. Dixon had said one thing to me and now changed her mind because of undue influence by third parties that are not in my brother's best interest. Why does there need to be a face-to-face meeting?
I don't know the reason behind that.
Yeah, well,
normally for a discharge meeting it is face-to-face.
Yeah, that was normal circumstances. What happens if my brother refuses to come down? So he's going to perpetually remain on your books.
I know what you're saying.
People say, no, if the doctor said, look, you need to take this medication, otherwise you're going to have a heart attack and die. And a person can say, no, I don't want to take it. That's a right. So you're refusing my brother a certain right to say no, to object, to say, I don't want to see you. He's made that very clear. He does not want to have any involvement with the city mental health team. And the fact that you're continuing to keep him held like this is very, very concerning to me. Why is that? I mean, you're saying that we have to, it's a protocol, it's a done thing, and we need to see him face to face. What about the fact that he's entitled to money? You're not willing to give him any money, are you? You're not willing to, you the health authority, he's under the Mental Health Act, he's out in the community under Section 117, aftercare, he's entitled for money from both the health authority and the local authority. You're not willing to give him any money, because that's in legislation, it says that he's entitled to these things. You're not willing to do that, but you're willing to hold him indefinitely onto your books and waiting for, saying we need to definitely have a face-to-face. If I was in my brother's situation, I would come up and lamp you one. And that's what he's attempted to do previously. He's very angry and annoyed that you're continuing to hold him captive like this.
But Mr. Hussain, this isn't my decision. I can only pass on what the doctor said.
And Andrea, and I've already apologized to you personally if I'm coming across as slightly irate.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to be irate towards you, but unfortunately, because the doctors are acting in a pusillanimous manner, hiding behind the cover of their organization, the trust and the health authority and the local authority, and fronting you with it, unfortunately, you're taking the brunt of my annoyance, which they themselves should be taking. But they're too much of a cowards to come and speak to me.
I mean, if I could help, I would.
I know. Look, Andrea, I'm trying to understand I'm not having any issue with you. You are doing your job, but trying to understand that you're being put into this position by somebody else. By Dr. Dixon, by other people that are controlling Dr. Dixon. So you're being fronted. You're like being put across as a pawn for me to act my aggression towards and say something untowards you, and then I come across as the bad guy. But I'm not going to do that because I have a great deal of respect for you. So I'm not going to do that, but I'm still angry and annoyed that Dr. Dixon has agreed one thing with me. She said to me in fortnights I'll hope to arrange a telephone consultation, and now last week she's told you whilst being on annual leave, oh no, it's going to be back to a face-to-face and it can only take place when the coronavirus has dissipated. That was exactly what we agreed. That's not going to happen.
I mean, all I can think is that after the meeting, she's liaised with Fungi and Bally and said, we need to do it the proper way and do a face.
No, that you're assuming things now, because Fungi and Bally have no control. Because when I've spoken to Bally, they've told me that Bally's moved on to a different case. All right, she's going to leave the case. Fungi, he's just acting as a pansy. All right, so they don't have any control in the situation. It's ultimately the liability on the doctor, and I believe the doctor is being controlled by Vicina Brown, who works for Bradford Council, and Nadia Khan. If Nadia Khan and Vicina Brown don't have an ulterior agenda, Dr. Dixon would discharge him tomorrow.
Right.
Okay, so that's the reality of the situation. It's Nadia Khan and Vicina Brown who work for the local authority who have an agenda that as now Dr. Dixon is playing into, when Dr. Dixon should be looking to prioritize what is in my brother's best interest. Because I can't speak to Vicina Brown or Nadia Khan, can I? And it concerns me that they work for your organisation and work for the council.
Right. I mean, I can email them and ask them to ring, or do you just want me to...
Andrea, with all due respect, you know how many emails I've got the email addresses. I've sent them emails myself. They don't want to contact me. They don't want to engage with me because they know they're utilising my brother's illness and my brother's situation to cause me anxiety and suffering, and looking to utilise my brother as a tool, my brother's illness as a tool in order to cause me distress. Because obviously my brother's not dealing with this. My brother's delegated that authority to me, and I'm having to liaise with Fungi and Bali and all the rest of them, and they're all lying and cheating and manipulating the situation because they're being controlled by the local authority through Nadia Khan and Mark Truin. I take it Mark Truin's not back yet. Yeah, so obviously there's a nefarious agenda going at hand, which Reshmi Dixon, Dr. Sami, Dr. Nasser, Dr. Shaukat Ali, all are playing into. Alright, all these doctors that have dealt with my brother are not acting in his best interest, but are acting in the best interest of the local authority, which is a partner organisation of the Health Authority, Bradford District Care Trust, which is beggars belief that they're saying we want to have a face-to-face. If I was in my brother's situation and any person from the city mental health team had come in front of me, I would punch them. I'm telling you now. If I was my brother's within his rights to do that, because they've come to our house and abducted him with the police and put him into a Millenfield hospital for 3 months and starved him nearly half to death. He lost half his weight. And so there's all sorts of shenanigans going on, and this is one of the reasons that I tell Dr. Dixon and the city mental health team that because my brothers are in the community, I'm charging for this, and I'm charging £1 million a week, which they're looking to ignore. Because this is not acceptable that fraud is taking place by Dr. Dixon, Dr. Sami, Dr. Shaukat Ali previously, and Dr. Nasser, and who nobody's willing to speak to me now, saying that you're not the client. You know, Talib's our client. That doesn't make any sense, because obviously Talib's delegated that authority to me. Look, I can just hear myself ranting. Andrea, I'm going to apologise if I've come across as irate. But as you can appreciate, my call today was to find out when the telephone meeting is going to take place, which Dr. Dixon had agreed with. Today you're telling me that Dr. Dixon has emailed you and told you I'm on holiday, I'm on leave, and it's going to go back to a face-to-face, which is going to happen after the coronavirus as epidemic is going to subsides. That's not acceptable.
From my point of view, I just presumed at the appointment, this is what we're agreed, and that, you know, you agreed an appointment face-to-face. I don't know what went on at the appointment, you know, so...
But if you recall, I rang you up straight away, didn't I, after that meeting happened? I rang you up this very same day, I think. And I told you, well, could we try to arrange this and get everybody's diary together? I did say that because that was what happened at the end of that conversation. If Andy, you and I agree to something today, and then later on you negate on that, do you think I'm not going to be annoyed?
Oh no, I can understand your frustration. I can.
Yeah. It's a justifiable frustration because you.
No, obviously it's a shock for me to turn around and say no, it's going to be a face-to-face. I can appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, we've agreed to something on the telephone. All right, and now they've negated on this, and this is one of the reasons that it's very important for me to record all my calls, because I'm thinking to myself, am I going mad here? Did we not say something else? Did we not agree to something? And then it comes that their word against my word, and they're a doctor, they're a professional, they're a public servant, so they're in a position of trust, and so therefore, are you going to believe what Dr. Dixon has said or what I have said? So therefore, I make it a policy to record all my conversations with these people, and so therefore, I've got it recorded that that's what Dr. Dixon has said. And now all of a sudden, today when I'm ringing up 2 weeks later, oh no, we've changed our mind, it's going to go back to this, without giving a justifiable reason. Why did you agree with me in one thing and now agree something else? Yeah. This is clearly fraudulent. So can you ask, just to end our conversation, can you ask Dr. Dixon to contact me, arrange a telephone appointment on our home number and have a conversation with us, considering that you had previously agreed to us that it was going to be a telephone discharge, and now you want to have a face-to-face, and I give an explanation why.
Right, okay.
And I'll leave that with you, and I'm sorry if I've come irate, but I've just basically found out now that the situation has changed once again without informing us after we've agreed to something.
Right.
Yeah,
that's fine. I'll pass that on to her.
Okay, thank you very much. And can I just confirm that you're the secretary for Dr. Reshmi Dixon and Dr. Sami?
I am, yeah.
And Dr. Nasser?
No, that's somebody called Michelle.
Okay, all right. That's fine. Thank you very much.
Okay then.
Thank you.